Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update. Am I wrong for asking my boyfriend to charge his family member for fraud? Original post. Backstory: I 27 female and my boyfriend 34 male have been together 5 years and have worked really hard to save for a house. 2 weeks ago, we fell in love with a house and we put down an initial deposit to hold the property, as the house won't be built until end of 2022. We have been in talks with a mortgage broker and the builder's finance people. But last week, we received some shocking news when my boyfriend's credit score came back as being bad. There was activity on the statement that was 100% not his, and a credit card that has gone into default over the last 6 months. This credit card was originally my boyfriend's, but he swears he closed the account and canceled the card mid-2019. Long story short, we discovered that a family member that was living with him a few years ago has gotten a hold of the card at some point and has been using the card on and off since 2019. They defaulted on payments in early 2020 but paid this off, then defaulted again in December of last year, and the account is still in default and over $5,000 is owed in charges and late fees. Charges for shopping, news agency, takeaway food, and pubs for gambling. My boyfriend has had zero knowledge of this, as he hasn't had access to the account after he closed it, and hasn't been receiving statements or notices from the bank because the family member has diverted these to their address. We're now unable to successfully apply for a bank loan for our house, as they won't lend to my boyfriend with his credit the way it is. And now our options are 2. 1. Proceed with fraud investigations and charges in the family member, allowing us to prove this is of no fault of my boyfriend's and successfully secure the loan. Or 2. Boyfriend pays the debt and we wait at least 2 years from the payoff date for his credit to regain some loss. Option 2 sets us back at least 3 years in starting a family and our lives as homeowners. This will also not allow my boyfriend to secure a bank loan to start up his own business he's been dreaming of starting for a few years. This was the year he planned on. This has devastated us and put a massive delay in our plans, but my boyfriend doesn't like conflict and is going with option 2. He isn't even planning on mentioning anything to that family member. He just wants it to all go away and thinks this family member is going through a rough time. I want my boyfriend to proceed with fraud charges and investigation. We have worked too hard to not have our dream house and him owning his own business. So am I wrong for pushing my opinion on my boyfriend? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not wrong. But is this really someone you want to build a life with, having this kind of baggage? He's willing to pay off a debt incurred by someone fraudulently and not even address it with that person. What happens if this person does it again? He's already taught them that there's no consequences if they spend money they don't have. And then it will be tied to you as well. You need to think long and hard about whether this is something you want to deal with long term. I do think it's odd he's willing to pay for it and not address it with the person that incurred the debt. Are you sure the person didn't have permission to keep using it as long as they paid the bill? I have had these exact thoughts and am still battling with myself on what decision I make going forward. Because I agree, I'm not willing to let this person potentially do this again, and it becomes my issue. My boyfriend swears to me he had no knowledge of this. He wouldn't have agreed to let this family member use the card, as he knows this person isn't good with money. My conversation would go something like this with my partner. While I understand how you don't want conflict, this decision does not affect only your life, but also mine. This delays us significantly in getting a home, having a child which you mentioned, and starting a life together. If you are not willing to put our life above disrupting someone who had no compassion or thought for you while doing something very illegal, then I will seriously need to reconsider our future going forward. It definitely sucks, but this isn't a small thing with minor consequences. You are directly impacted. 100% not wrong. Your boyfriend would be the bad guy if he chooses option 2. Been there, done that, with a family member destroying my credit, stealing money out of my bank accounts, writing bad checks, stealing my engagement and wedding ring to pawn it that I had to pay to get out on the last day. He needs to report in order to fight with credit agencies and attempt to get these debts resolved. Also, place a fraud alert and lock his credit report so no one else can use his identity. Not wrong. We have already put a lock on his credit so no more charges or inquiries can be added to his account. This person has also used my boyfriend's identity to apply for payday loans. The credit card account has been locked too, and card has been frozen. I feel right now it's still really fresh. We've known all of 2 days. I don't think my boyfriend is thinking clearly. Because it's not just the credit card lowering his score, it's all the other inquiries that have been made too. He needs the fraud report evidence to fight the rest too. Why does he want to protect someone that is actively ruining him? If he won't fight for you now, will he later? He had valid concerns for his mother's health as she has heart issues, and he is worried the stress of this may lead to her death if he causes rifts in the family. He isn't the one who caused the rift, but he could very well cause a rift in his relationship with you if he doesn't act. He's being a doormat and has no concern for the fact that his inaction is directly harming you too. You'll have to ask yourself if you want to start a family who won't stand up for you. Will he also not stand up for your children? Hey OP, are you sure this family member wouldn't persuade your boyfriend to give them a job or make them a partner when he starts his own business? That's a good point. No, I'm not sure at all. Probably would, if they needed it. My boyfriend has a huge heart and is very giving and generous with his family. This is not reciprocated though from them to him, which saddens me too. And now for the update. I want to begin by thanking everyone for their advice on my original post. There were some really constructive strategies and words of advice. I spoke with my boyfriend about my concerns and was honest with him that things he was telling me didn't all make sense. He was adamant he didn't know anything about the credit card or the apparent inquiries on his credit account about payday loans. My boyfriend is still refusing to open any fraud investigations against his family member and has said he will pay off the debt himself. But some other things came out during our conversation that he was hiding from me. Lying has been a big issue of his during our whole relationship. In the past I have forgiven him for his lies, but I can't keep forgiving the same issue every few months when he promises to change, but we're in the same spot every few months. And I'm not talking little lies. I'm talking big lies and even bigger lies to cover up those lies. I know I'm stupid for giving him the benefit of the doubt. So in saying this, my boyfriend is now my ex-boyfriend. When I spoke with my boyfriend about my concerns above, he ended up picking up his bag and walking out on me and drove away. That was the last time I seen him in person. This is how this man dealt with an issue in our 5-year relationship. We haven't spoken much since, but I have definitely resigned to the fact my relationship is over. I think he is expecting me to forgive him like all the previous times. I have packed up his stuff and will return them to him after my city comes out of our 6th lockdown. There is a good ending to this story though. I spoke with my mortgage broker and the housing developers. I can't afford the original townhouse I fell in love with alone, but a smaller townhouse that I also loved came available and I've been approved for this one. I paid my deposit 3 days before my birthday last month and I've now bought a house by myself. Congratulations. You bought a house and got rid of excess baggage. You will love owning your own space, literally and metaphorically. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. You are so strong and admirable. I wish you so much luck and happiness. Enjoy your new life and home. Who was the family member in original post? Cousin, sibling, parents? Just curious. Glad things are good now. It was either his dad or his brother. Congrats on your home purchase. Your ex did you a favor. Now you can start fresh. Thank you. Yes, that is true. Slightly scary starting again after being in a 5-year committed relationship, when I don't know who I am outside of the relationship. Yes, you do. You're someone who can spot lies and garbage a mile away. You're also someone who doesn't stand by and takes matters into her own hands. I'm happy he left, because now you have your own house. You'll find someone better who doesn't need to lie to keep you around for 5 years, girl. Thanks. You're so right. I'm so ready to get on with life without being lied to and constantly being skeptical of everything. Not only that, but you deserve the time and space to become familiar again with the awesome person you are. Such a massive change will obviously be a lot to process and deal with, so make sure you have a support system in place, be a little selfish, do things solely because you want to, and find joy in your freedom and independence. Proud of you. Next story. Am I wrong for wanting to move after being lied to? Original post. My fiancé 31 male and I 29 female have been together for 2 years. After getting engaged 6 months ago, we decided that I would move from my downtown apartment to his 300 acres and home that he owns outright after getting it in an inheritance. His place is an hour from where I'm from in a small town, with nothing around, stores, food, etc., and the closest place to get gas is 35 minutes away. And my family is an hour and a half away, which isn't a huge deal, but it's just been an adjustment for me. When talking about the future, I explained that I always wanted to raise my children where I grew up, the suburbs. He grew up in a rural area where school system is not great, but in our decision-making, he expressed that the best thing would be to just stay in his hometown, because he will never sell his land. Then after a few odd things have been said by his family, I started to question if he even owned this property. I've seen his land taxes, but when going over his credit and taxes, there is nothing at all about his property in it. I asked him a few times about it and he acted so offended that I would even ask. I woke up this morning and couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, so I called the county assessor and found out this is his uncle's land and home, who is a widow and works out of the state. Basically, for the last 6 months, we've been house sitting. The furniture and everything are his uncle's. I confronted him today, and honestly I'm considering just leaving, but at the very least, I want us to move. We have the credit and the savings to buy a home, but he won't budge and keeps saying his uncle will probably give him the property. I feel like he manipulated me to move here, but now his best man is calling saying this is a jerk move and makes me come off as a gold digger because I'm mad he doesn't have the assets he claimed to have. So, am I wrong? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Not wrong. Your fiancé is being shady as heck. And worse, y'all might even be squatting on his uncle's property. Red flags going off, big time. Right. She's the gold digger, but he's the one hoping his uncle kicks it and leaves him a house. Not to mention that, how dare you be upset I lied to you? In order to manipulate you into uprooting your whole life, you must be a gold digger is really not the flex he thinks it is. This would be a deal breaker for me, because lying about your assets to your fiancé is a huge red flag. Not wrong. You moved in with him on the assumption that he was telling you the truth about where you were moving. There is a world of difference between moving into a boyfriend's place and moving into a place your boyfriend is house sitting and may one day inherit. Possibly. Also, the best man was an idiot for calling you a gold digger for wanting to know what was going on. Good luck with all of this. Not wrong, he's gaslighting you. It's not about you being a gold digger, it's about his lying. You guys were making future plans, and you didn't even really want to live out there. So it's not like you were with him for the house, right? You need to step away and think things through. Go stay with your parents or good friend for a bit while you think it through. Think about the fact that even not owning it, it's where he wants to stay. At 31, does he have a couch, a TV, anything to contribute to a home? Or did he take advantage of the situation and smartly build up a nice nest egg or blow his income? Is living where you are, with someone waiting to get stuff for free, what you want for your future and for your kids? If you decide to walk away, what he or his friends think of you is not your problem, you do you. If you decide this is fixable, then you might as well stay in the house and save as long as you can to buy what and where you want. Ask anybody that had a decent deal going and left it to buy a house, how they wish they would have stayed even a bit longer, to save even a bit more, prepare for a new place a bit more. Thank you for the thought-out response. He has a good savings and we are both debt-free. He says his whole family even says he will get this property when it's time. I, however, am not trying to save money to build a home on someone else's property. I don't even think that's possible with permits and everything. He says that, but he said he owned the property. Have you seen the bank statements? Why are you trusting any of what he says? If it is true, unless his uncle is on his deathbed, you are not owning that house anytime soon. Uncle could get a new partner who wants to raise horses tomorrow, and you are out of a home. You really need a break from this guy to figure this out. He lied to you multiple times to manipulate you to move where he wanted to live. That is not okay. You need to think about what you actually want because he is not entertaining any kind of compromise, is willing to lie and manipulate to get exactly what he wants, and is willing to call you names when he is caught. Oh, I'm moving with or without him. But yes, I have access to his bank account and we have a savings together. I also have gone through his credit report. When we got together about 6 months in, I asked if I could look at it. He had a medical bill in collections that was like $300 and I made him pay it off. But yes, he lied. And I've said the same thing about him getting fired or finding a new love interest, etc. And now for the update. So, I know a lot of people said to take a few days and figure out what's next, but I decided last night that I am done. Especially since, like many predicted, I found out he'd been lying about more than just this. I am calling today to cancel our venue. That's $4,500 down the drain. As far as the savings, I have proof that what I took is mine. It wasn't much, but it's over $15,000, so I am confident that I can leave and have a good cushion. I have a year left of my master's program, and I work a remote job with unlimited personal time off. I'm taking the day off to pack, and my best friend and her boyfriend, who is like a brother to me, offered their guest room. I'm going to stay there and continue saving while I look for my own property that's actually mine. I hadn't done hardly any planning for our wedding, which I blamed on school and work. But now I know it was a subconscious choice. I also had a separate savings that I had started before we ever met in the event that I had to pay for my master's program. Luckily, my job is paying for that. I think that is what is most infuriating. He also has a separate savings that doesn't have as much as mine, but still, so together we have plenty of money in savings to buy land and build a home, and we are both debt-free. But that is no longer an option for me. Last night he was begging to make it work. Started saying he would move wherever I wanted and was apologizing profusely. I made him call his friend on speaker to let him know that he has been living a lie and that I'm leaving him. Thank you all for your responses. I'm meeting with my therapist this morning, and my dad will be coming this evening to help me load up all of my things. Imagine trying to convince someone to complexly upend their plans and expectations for maybe, possibly, perhaps getting a house when someone dies. And that's on top of all the lies. I had a family member assume they knew what they were inheriting. They were extremely wrong. You never ever base your entire future on a possibility. Even if it's written into the will, wills can be changed. We just went through this in reverse. Grandparents originally wrote for their 4 remaining children to split any remaining money, but their youngest, who's my only uncle on that side, was also inheriting their lakefront house that's nicer than the house he already had. But he and his wife never did anything for my grandparents in their declining health, despite living not even 10 minutes away from them. Long story short, they got real icky about only getting the house and land, yet all of my grandpa's nice tools and equipment they couldn't bring with them when they moved across the country, so my family could take care of them. Until my uncle's siblings got the 2 of them to shut up and be grateful they got anything at all. Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update. Found out my best friend's girlfriend is hitting on my fiancé. Original post. My fiancé, male 28, and I, female 26, have a beach vacation coming up. It was supposed to be us, my sister and her husband. Circumstances changed and they won't be joining us, but their tickets are non-refundable. So we decided to invite my brother-in-law's brother Ned, male 27, who has also been my best friend since we were toddlers, and his girlfriend Kate, female 27. We are all very close and hang out almost every week. We all have a group chat for the trip, and Kate and I discuss girly stuffs privately. Last week, Kate sent my fiancé some lingerie and bikini pics, asking for his suggestion in his private chat. Fiancé assumed she sent it to him accidentally instead of me, and told her that. To which she said she wanted a man's opinion, and my fiancé said he didn't really have any opinion, and she should ask me or her boyfriend. He then showed me the messages when we both got home from work. We both thought it was weird and just moved past it. Side note, she never sent me anything asking for my opinion, even though a couple days later I asked for her opinion on some dresses. On Sunday, Ned and Kate came to our house for dinner and to discuss our upcoming trip. Everything went great. I got a video call from my sis and brother-in-law, and I was talking to them in the balcony, and Ned came to say hi to his brother. According to my fiancé, when Ned left the room, Kate brought up the pics and was asking him his opinion, and even showed him pics of her in lingerie, and some of them were very revealing. Fiancé was cornered by her in the kitchen where he was clearing up some dishes. I called him from the balcony to participate in the video chat since my sis had some news. This was when he was able to get away from her. If it's relevant, she was a bit drunk. My fiancé told me this after they left. I was, still am, angry with her. We both felt like all this happened too fast, and there weren't really any other signs. He also asked me to look through their chat to see if he was oblivious to her or something. There wasn't really much correspondence between them, except the occasional confirming of plans. I don't really know how to approach this with Ned and Kate. I don't really want her on this trip if she's going to act like this, and also fiancé is not at all comfortable with the idea. Ned is like a brother to me. I love him, I don't want this to destroy our friendship, but also given the situation, he deserves a lot better. So guys, what should I do? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Your fiancé should just straightforward tell her, listen, this is all awkward, and expect her to gaslight as well, but you can back him up. Things will take care of themselves after the confrontation, if at all she is weird. We are supposed to leave for the trip on Saturday. We all have work till Friday, so I don't know how to make time for confrontation. They work opposite shifts, so that's an issue too. I don't know who I should talk to first. You have to talk to Ned. Show him the text messages. There's no 2 ways about it. Should we talk to them both, or only to Ned first? It's a tricky situation, but as your relationship is with Ned, so I would say talk to just him, you and your fiancé. Start off by saying you're sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Tell him you didn't know how to go about approaching him on this, but you feel he needs to know and the situation is making things uncomfortable for you and fiancé, and then just hand him the phone. Just be honest about it. It's going to be a mess no matter what, but it'll be shadier if you don't tell them. We are definitely going to bring it up. I don't want her to turn things around and blame my fiancé. I know Ned is going to be hurt, but I want to minimize it as much as possible. I mean, of course he's going to be hurt. You can't minimize that nor change that, but it's 100% not your fault, and you're doing the right thing by telling him. First update. Thanks for the advice. We are both taking afternoon off and are going to meet Ned tomorrow for lunch as he works night shift. Told him not to tell Kate anything as it's about a personal family stuff. Didn't tell him that fiancé would be there too. So hopefully he won't tell her anything. Do you still have the pictures as evidence? Do not go with her on the trip. She's trying to make the moves on your fiancé. Yes, we plan on showing him the pics. They have been together for about 4 years, but we all know each other since we were kids except my fiancé. And now for the update. I think this is how you update and link posts. I hope it works. Some of you wanted an update. So here it goes. My fiancé and I took the afternoon off work to meet with my best friend Ned for lunch yesterday. Fiancé was running a bit late, so I reached the restaurant first. Ned and I were catching up, and he talked about how he misses hanging out just the two of us like when we were younger. I felt a bit guilty lying to him, so I told him fiancé was joining in sometime as well. He started thanking me for inviting him on the trip. Apparently due to their conflicting schedules, Ned and Kate weren't spending much time together, and their relationship was tense. He said that this trip would be the best thing for them and he was really excited. Fiancé arrived at the tail end of this conversation, and I felt so sad for Ned. I was almost ready to forgo the confrontation altogether. We basically apologized to him, and I told him that fiancé had something to say. Fiancé told him about the messages and what happened in the kitchen. Ned was in disbelief. Shock. But he was very quiet. He asked if we had the messages, and fiancé showed him. Then Ned said now it makes sense. We were confused and asked what he was talking about. Apparently when they left, Kate was pretty drunk, and the whole drive home, Kate was mumbling things like nobody wants me, likes me, loves me, etc. And the last couple days after the incident, she was acting strange the little time they spent together. We told him we are there for him obviously whatever he decides, but that we don't feel comfortable having Kate on the trip but he is still welcome. He said he would be talking to Kate and letting us know, but they won't be joining us on the trip. Tonight before work, Ned stopped by our house and told us that he broke up with Kate. He said he found some things, but wasn't ready to talk about it yet. Since they used to live together, she couldn't move out anywhere immediately, so Ned will be staying at our place for a while. Also, both fiancé and I got an apology text from Kate. So I guess that's it. We are not really in the mood now for the trip, but maybe it would be a good way to put this all behind. It might be selfish, but I am just grateful that Ned and I's friendship is still going strong, and that he trusts us to help him through the thing he's going through. Thank you to everyone for their advice. I think you all should still go on that trip. Y'all should let home wreck your plans too. Bring your friend. It would suck for him to be alone. Yes, that's what my fiancé and I were talking about just now. We don't want him to be alone. I guess it's time for another confrontation to make him agree to come with us and maybe bring some other friend, so he won't feel like the third wheel because that was his argument. If he comes, make sure that you have activities planned so that everyone isn't sitting around moping, and that you and fiancé have some time alone as well. Your fiancé was basically harassed and needs a break as well. This trip was actually planned as a romantic getaway, but we are going to move some things around and include non-couple or just do some group activities. Fiancé and I would have time for us as well. Ned loves photography, so there will be something to do for him at all time. You're such good friends. And honestly, a change of scenery would be good for all three of you. Sometimes taking a trip in situations like this helps clear your mind so you can start fresh. Good for Ned. It's a crappy situation, but he'll be better for it in the end. It speaks highly of your friendship that he trusts you so completely. He is an amazing person. I just hope everything works out for him and he's happy as soon as possible. Next story. My female 20, boyfriend male 20, invites my best friend female 20 out to games. Just the two of them. Original post. My boyfriend, let's call him Jim, and I have been together for a year, and me and my best friend we'll call Gina have been friends since grade school. Jim and Gina are both varsity players and are addicted to watching sports. They would follow hockey, baseball, soccer, football, basketball, like almost any game they love. However, I'm not really a sports person, but still, I would make the effort to attend their games. I would also make an effort to learn and understand their games. Jim plays football and Gina plays soccer. Jim was using my laptop and forgot to log out his Facebook account. I know it's wrong to snoop, but I couldn't help it. Some of his teammates were messaging him, and I clicked on the message icon and saw that he was messaging Gina. I got curious and scrolled through it and saw that he invited Gina out to multiple games, saying that he will buy 2 tickets for this game or that game. Gina would decline and tell him that he should invite me instead. Jim then said that I wouldn't understand and that I was not fun to be with in these kinds of things. Gina said that he is being unfair to me, but Jim still sends multiple messages to Gina about wanting to talk and wanting to go out with her. This has been going on for months. Gina has said nothing to me about this, and the only thing that she did to kinda allude to the situation is to text me list of games that I should watch because those are Jim's favorite teams. I kinda feel betrayed by both of them, although I feel more betrayed by Jim than Gina. What should I do? How should I approach this? Now for the top advice before reading the updates. I don't think you should feel betrayed by your friend. She probably didn't tell you because 1, she didn't want you to lose out on your relationship, and 2, because she didn't want to harm your friendship or make you feel jealous. She did great by defending you and declining his offers. You should be glad that you have such a loyal friend. A lot of other girls would have accepted his offers. Your friend could have told you sure, but she wasn't hiding that information with bad intent, at least from what it seems like. It looks like she was doing good by you, and I think you're right to feel hurt or betrayed, but you're misdirecting those feelings towards your friend when it's really your boyfriend who should not be trying to exclude his girlfriend. I would confront your boyfriend about the issue, and then maybe talk about things with your friend, and acknowledge that you saw she declined and was trying to help. She definitely was trying to help. I know a lot of ladies who try to help, then talk mad about the girlfriend to make themselves look like better or more viable options for the guy, and are super shady. You don't want a girl who pretends to play nice, and she's really up to something behind your back. Your friend is not like this. Agree completely. The friend always gets the short end if they tell you your partner is hitting on them. She was in a no-win situation and handled it brilliantly. Your boyfriend, on the other hand, is really making a play for her and disrespecting you. You know what you have to do. Dating is a screening process. He failed. Dump him. You should not feel betrayed by your friend. She's an awesome friend, if anything. She turned down all the invites. She defended you from your boyfriend's lame insults. She attempted to get him to invite you to the games. She, in her way, tried to bolster your interest in these games. She didn't want to ruin you two's relationship, and instead tried to steer him in the right direction. Many people wish they could have a friend like this. You should certainly talk to your boyfriend about this. This is 100% a him problem, at least in my opinion. I think the betrayal feeling from Gina might be because Gina didn't come right out and tell her that the boyfriend has been inviting her. I completely agree with you though, that it shouldn't be read that way. Gina has been trying to give the boyfriend an opportunity to make things right, rather than being the source that drives a rift between her friend's relationship. This is 100% an issue with Jim, but I'm not sure what the best approach would be. Maybe ask Jim if he resents her for not being interested in sports as much as he is. Or maybe a more positive approach where she asks if he'd enjoy going to a game with her sometime and see how she likes going to one with friends rather than watching them play. You're right, I talked to her about this, and she told me she was so unsure on what to do. She didn't want to ruin my relationship because of a wrong assumption, and that she also fears that it might affect our friendship. We apologized to each other and hugged it out. Now for the updates. Thank you everyone for your advice. I approached Gina first and told her that I've seen the messages. She was relieved that I came to her and talked to her about it. She explained that she didn't know what to do because she didn't want to do anything that would destroy our friendship. She also assured me that next time she will tell me if anything shady like this happens again, and that she will always have my back. We both apologized to each other and hugged it out. I also have to admit that snooping through Jim's messages are wrong. The reason I did that was because there are some rumors that he hits on other girls at away games, and I was feeling insecure and worried about it. But it still does not justify the way I went about it. As for Jim, we will meet up later tonight. I honestly think it is over between us. He also has a lot of guy friends to go with him to games, and he also would never invite me. I would rather salvage my relationship with my friend than continue my relationship with him and stay feeling insecure. Thank you guys for the advice. Update 2. Gina told me that I should start by saying, "Hey, Gina told me that you were inviting her out to games," and I did exactly that. Jim became defensive and told me that he never invited her. I told him that I saw the messages, and he asked if Gina showed me the messages. I told him the truth, that I saw it through his Facebook, and he was furious at me. He told me that I violated his privacy, and I apologized for it. Then he told me that he was asking out Gina because his friends felt that Gina was a lesbian. He was trying to get proof by asking her out, and that her not reciprocating is proof that she is one. At this point I'm like, what? He said that he was doing that to protect me, and I'm like, what? He then left and told me that he needed space and that I should text him after I got my head cleared up. I just texted him, "Stay away from me and Gina." That was honestly a wild ride. He got caught trying to cheat for sure. "I need space and you need to clear your head" was code for crap carp. The hasty excuse I cooked up in 10 seconds about her being a lesbian isn't working. I need time to clap my 2 brain cells together till something better comes out. If his brain were dynamite, he wouldn't have enough to blow his nose. Dude was doing exactly what the rumors said he was. If I were OP, I would check myself for STDs. You don't understand. He had to test all of the other women to see if they were lesbians. That has to be one of the worst excuses I've heard of. Protecting her. No. He wants to bang her bestie, no other way about it. Dude is trash. It really doesn't even make sense. Protect her from what? A friend who happens to be gay. Why would that even be a problem? When my best friend started dating her husband, he wanted her to stop hanging out with me because I am bi, and apparently that meant I was trying to get her to cheat on him. Thankfully, he was just young and stupid. She told him F no, we all hung out more, now her husband and me are good friends. This was like 15 years ago though. I thought today's 19-year-olds understood the whole gay thing better.